Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. We're the show where we try to cut through all the noise and get straight to the insights that really matter. And today, wow, we are kicking things off with a headline that's way more than just tech news. It feels, well, seismic, actually. Apple eyeing Google Gemini for Siri. Now, that's not just a tech headline, it's a potential landmark. And it could, believe it or not, redefine how you interact with crypto. Think about that. Your next crypto trade maybe isn't a tap and swipe, but like a real conversation with Siri. Imagine Apple, the titan of user experience using Google's AI power, not just to streamline things, but to really humanize how you deal with DeFi, maybe even skip that steep learning curve altogether. So today we're going on a really fascinating exploration. This story cuts across AI, tech giant strategies, user privacy, and yeah, even the future of Web3. We've pulled together a pretty substantial stack of sources: Tech Radar, Reuters, A Invest, Barron's. We've got a lot to really unpack what's going on here. We want to separate the speculation from the substance, give you that shortcut to being really well informed. Our mission is to get the what, sure, but also the really profound why behind this potential shift.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just about like a product upgrade for Siri. This signals a pivotal, almost unprecedented shift in Apple's whole strategy. I mean, their long-standing strategy. It fundamentally challenges that deep-seated ethos they have,
Yeah.
vertical integration, doing everything in-house. And it raises some really, really important questions about innovation, about competition in this crazy fast AI landscape, and ultimately how we're all going to command our digital lives, especially, like you said, within crypto. This potential collaboration, it doesn't just reshape Siri. It fundamentally challenges what competition even means now. In the age of AI, it forces us to rethink the architecture of innovation, how intelligence and power get distributed in our most personal tech. It's really about the future of how we interact with technology itself.
Okay, let's dive deeper then into the core of this seismic shift you mentioned. So, at its heart, sources like Tech Radar, Reuters, A Investing, they're all confirming Apple is in serious talks with Google to license Gemini, their big AI model, for a totally revamped Siri. And this isn't just some rumor flying around tech forums, right? This feels concrete.
It does. It feels like a strategic move.
Yeah, and it could see these two giants, who are often seen as, fierce competitors, possibly joining forces on something really foundational. It's almost mind-boggling, considering their history.
Well, absolutely. The move itself is highly significant for several reasons, really, that go way beyond just a typical business deal. I mean, for decades, Apple and Google have been direct competitors, sometimes existential competitors, especially in mobile OS and services. They've clashed over everything: search, maps, and definitely their voice assistants. So this potential collaboration, it just highlights the immense pressure and the sheer, almost unimaginable scale of investment needed in AI right now, generative AI specifically. Developing these cutting-edge large language models, LLM, from scratch, it's extraordinarily resource-intensive. We're talking, well, not just astronomical compute power, right? Think data centers packed with tens of thousands of GPUs, but also access to incredibly diverse, high-quality training data and a deep understanding of these complex transformer architectures. That takes years, maybe a decade to build up. It's not just throwing money at it. It's specialized knowledge, infrastructure, an R&D cycle that very few companies have at the absolute leading edge. So this potential partnership, it feels like a strategic acknowledgement from Apple.
That in some areas, maybe external expertise is the fastest, most efficient path forward, especially for something core to the user experience, like Siri. It's pragmatic, really, in such a fast-moving field, prioritizing speed and capability over doing everything in-house.
Right, that if you can't beat them, integrate them idea. That's one way to look at it. But I can't help wondering, doesn't this risk diluting Apple's whole independent innovation thing, their DNA? Does relying on Google for something so foundational, does it change who Apple is? And what are the long-term strategic pitfalls? Is it just a stopgap?
Or a real shift.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it temporary until their own AI catches up? Or is this a fundamental change in how they approach AI development across the board?
That's the critical question, isn't it? Almost philosophical for Apple. Now, it undeniably addresses an immediate need. Enhance Siri's generative skills, bring it up to par with rivals. We all know it needs it. But it also presents this fascinating strategic reorientation. One perspective is, well, it frees up Apple's own massive R&D resources. They can focus on other AI stuff, things more deeply tied into their hardware and software. Think about on-device AI for privacy, specialized AI for Apple Health, personalized AI for specific Apple apps that could differentiate them even more.
Okay, so like a tiered approach.
Potentially, yeah. A tiered approach to AI. Maybe foundational models like Gemini get licensed for general stuff. While the more specialized on-device AI for privacy-sensitive things, unique Apple experiences that stays firmly in-house. This strategy lets them leapfrog competitors in general AI performance without maybe abandoning their own long-term differentiated AI goals, the pitfalls. Obvious ones: dependence on an external vendor, licensing costs, and that delicate balance of maintaining your brand identity when a core interaction is powered by a competitor. It's definitely a calculated risk.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Apple isn't just blindly jumping into this Google partnership. Our sources are saying they're running this extensive internal bake-off to find the absolute best fit for the next-gen Siri. They're pitting their own in-house model, codenamed Linwood, which I guess is designed for efficiency on-device stuff.
Right, likely optimized for Apple Silicon and deep integration.
Yeah, pitting that against a whole suite of third-party tech, these Glenwood models from various AI players. This isn't just a simple comparison, is it? It sounds like a really rigorous strategic decision about core AI architecture.
Exactly. And this bake-off, it's way more than just Apple versus Google. Our sources, Tech Radar, A-Invest, they're pretty clear. Apple is reportedly testing models from a range of leading AI developers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Google's Gemini with its multimodal strengths, but also OpenAI's ChatGPT, the one everyone knows. And Anthropic's Claude, which is known for, its ethical focus and handling long contexts well.
Wow, okay, so they're really casting a wide net.
Totally. This methodical, multi-vendor approach shows they're committed to finding the absolute best-in-class solution. Not just settling for the obvious one. It's that classic internal versus external debate, but on a monumental scale. Huge implications for Siri and the whole AI market. They're essentially creating this super competitive environment internally. To spur innovation, sure, but also to make sure they get the most advanced, reliable, secure, future-proof AI they possibly can. For their ecosystem, it really underscores how big a decision this is for them.
Okay, thinking about this bake-off, it makes me picture, like you said, a high-stakes engineering challenge, choosing the best engine. You want power, efficiency, reliability. But with AI, it feels like there's so many more layers. What kind of specific metrics would Apple be obsessing over in this bake-off? Beyond just, basic performance, what are the absolute non-negotiables for Apple here?
Oh, they'd be meticulously comparing a whole multidimensional set of benchmarks. It's complex. First, accuracy. Understanding complex, nuanced, multi-turn queries. That's paramount. Siri needs to go way beyond simple commands. Understand context, infer intent, handle follow-ups gracefully.
Right, real conversation.
Exactly. Second, response time. Latency. Absolutely critical for a smooth experience. Nobody wants to wait seconds for an AI. Speed impacts satisfaction, perceived intelligence. Third, and maybe the biggest one for Apple, the privacy model. How robust is it? And this isn't just general anonymization. They'll scrutinize the whole data pipeline. Is it raw voice audio going off device?
Yeah.
Transcribed text? Or just like compressed anonymized embeddings?
Okay, the technical details matter hugely there.
Hugely. What are the encryption protocols? Are they looking at federated learning? Homomorphic encryption. That whole distinction between Apple's private cloud and a third party's public cloud. It hinges on whether Gemini's model weights run inside Apple's secure infrastructure, or if requests are just API calls to Google servers, even if anonymized. That technical detail dictates the real privacy posture.
Wow, okay. That's a critical distinction.
Absolutely. Then, beyond privacy, hallucinations, minimizing them. Factual accuracy is non-negotiable for a trusted assistant. Scalability and cost, both energy consumption and the financial cost of running these things at Apple's scale. Huge factor. And finally, ecosystem integration. How well does it play with health, wallet, shortcuts, deep platform features? How easy is it to update? These factors are critical, not just for performance now, but for scalability, cost, long-term viability, and crucially, user trust. They're balancing cutting-edge AI with their core values, business realities, and user expectations. It's a massive balancing act.
So after this incredibly intense bake-off, what does it all mean? For Apple, sure, but maybe more importantly for us, the users. It feels pretty clear Siri needs a major upgrade. I mean, many people argue, and our sources seem to agree, it lags behind rivals in those real generative AI capabilities.
Yeah, the current Siri.
Yeah.
It's fine for basic stuff, right? Timers, weather.
Exactly. But ask it something complex, open-ended, it often struggles. It feels, well, less like an intelligent assistant and more like a fancy calculator sometimes, compared to ChatGPT or Gemini.
And that raises the why now question. Why this sudden dramatic pivot? It's no secret Siri, while foundational, has fallen behind. Google Assistant, Alexa.
They're just more capable with generative AI right now. I mean, that Wired piece, it's time to kill Siri. Ouch. That's harsh, but it reflects a certain public sentiment, puts pressure on Apple.
Definitely puts pressure on them. So this potential move, licensing Gemini or another model, it can fast-track those needed improvements. Let Apple rapidly boost Siri's intelligence, its conversational skills. Instead of spending years building a competitive foundational model from scratch, which, as we said, is monumental, they could integrate one that's already leading the market. It's not just about incremental steps, it's about a significant leap, letting Apple catch up, maybe even surpass the current state-of-the-art in general AI. It feels like a pragmatic acceptance that the AI game has changed dramatically. Rapid adaptation, even through partnerships, is key to staying relevant. And maybe, like we speculated, it frees up their internal AI teams to focus on those unique, on-device AI experiences that only Apple can deliver.
So you could argue it's Apple's fast track strategy, a pragmatic move to get a market-leading AI integrated quickly. But does that strategy come with its own long-term costs, dependencies, for Apple's whole ecosystem? And how does bringing in an external brain fundamentally change what Siri is? Does it risk compromising that seamless integration Apple is famous for? Or is the goal to make it feel totally native?
That's exactly the tightrope they're walking. Preserving the core Apple experience is paramount, but with much better intelligence underneath. The goal isn't just to bolt on a new AI. It has to be seamlessly integrated, feel like a natural, intuitive evolution of Siri. That means working flawlessly with existing apps, services, maintaining that intuitive UI, genuinely enhancing the user journey, not disrupting it. Success hinges on whether it feels like a true upgrade or, well, like a disjointed, maybe slightly Frankenstein-esque addition.
Right. That integration is key.
Absolutely. Long-term costs, ongoing licensing fees for sure, maybe a potential dip in Apple's internal expertise and foundational LLMs if they lean too heavily on outsiders, and just the ongoing challenge of managing a critical component developed by a rival. It's a delicate balance, brand identity, user experience, strategic independence, all while embracing external innovation. It really signals a shift in what innovation means, even for the most vertically integrated companies. Hashtag D, privacy still top of mind. With trade-offs,
Okay, but hang on. This is Apple we're talking about. A company that's built its entire reputation almost on user privacy. Their marketing hammers at home. Data protection, on-device processing. What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. How on earth do they reconcile integrating a powerful third-party AI, especially from Google, a company often seen as data-hungry, with that deep commitment to privacy? It feels like a fundamental tension, almost a contradiction.
it is. It's absolutely the most critical and complex part of this whole thing. And Apple is clearly trying to navigate it extremely carefully, technically speaking.
Yeah.
Our sources, particularly A-Invest, they suggest this really nuanced approach, allowing Gemini models to run on Apple's private cloud infrastructure. Now, that phrase is key. We need to unpack that. What it likely means is that the processing power, the intelligence of the Gemini model would be used. But the actual raw data from your Siri request, your voice, your questions would theoretically stay within Apple's control.
Okay, so processed in Apple's data centers under their rules.
It's exactly. Processed in their secure data centers, under their strict protocols, not sent directly to Google's public cloud. The goal here is multifaceted: preserve data privacy, maintain Apple's control over the data, align with their privacy-first brand, all while getting that advanced AI sophistication, that rapid capability upgrade. It's a very sophisticated technical and strategic trade-off. Balancing that in-house control and privacy promise with the AI gains from an external leader. This involves huge architectural challenges. Strict data isolation, advanced encryption everywhere, meticulous auditing of data flows. They'd be looking at, like we discussed, does raw audio leave the device? Is it transcribed and anonymized first? Are only those mathematical embeddings sent for inference?
Right, those technical details again.
Yeah, they might even use things like differential privacy, adding statistical noise, or secure enclaves for processing sensitive data in isolated hardware. It's a massive challenge to ensure privacy while using external power and communicating that complex setup clearly to users. That's a huge brand challenge for Apple, too.
So basically, keep Google's AI brain locked securely inside Apple's house. It's an attempt to have their cake and eat it too, right? Get the smarts without handing over raw, identifiable data.
That seems to be the goal.
It sounds incredibly sophisticated, needs immense infrastructure, robust legal agreements, but it also means Apple takes on the big responsibility of managing that, making sure Google's AI plays by Apple's privacy rules within their walls. Which brings up a crucial question for everyone listening. Would your trust in Siri go up or down if it used Google AI, even knowing it's supposedly running in Apple's private cloud? Or does that still feel like, I don't know, betraying Apple's DNA, that core privacy promise? It's about trust and perception, and it'll be fascinating to see how people react. Because for many, that privacy piece is the Apple difference. Okay, let's pivot now. Let's talk about something really exciting, especially for you if you're deep in the crypto world or even just crypto curious. We're talking about a supercharged Siri, maybe powered by Gemini, not just for timers anymore. This dramatically smarter voice AI deeply integrated into iOS. How could it fundamentally change how you interact with Web3, with your own crypto assets? This is where it gets really interesting for our audience, I think.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, a significantly more capable voice AI on iOS, it could be a monumental game changer for crypto and Web3. Think about it. One of the biggest hurdles, maybe the biggest, for mainstream crypto adoption has always been the user experience.
Oh, absolutely. It's often complex, intimidating.
Exactly. Full of jargon, steep learning curves. The friction points are everywhere, setting up wallets, understanding gas fees, navigating dApps. This level of deep AI integration could genuinely fill that massive UX gap, make crypto far more intuitive, far more accessible to the average person than ever before. Those complex multi-step processes, the technical language needing meticulous manual input, a truly smart conversational voice assistant could abstract so much of that away. An assistant that understands intent, not just keywords.
That sounds incredible for adoption, like building a bridge over that digital divide for Web3. But let's get specific. Give us some tangible day-to-day examples. What would this actually look like for someone managing their crypto, from a beginner to, an experienced DeFi user? How would I use this smart Siri?
Okay, think about voice-activated wallets going way beyond just checking balances. Think complex transactions. Instead of navigating menus, connecting to dApps, approving permissions, confirming transactions, all that clicking, you could just say, Siri, check my total Ethereum balance across all my connected wallets, including MetaMask and my Ledger. Get a consolidated, real-time report.
Wow. Okay.
Or something more advanced. Siri, initiate a swap of zero point 0.1 ETH for USDC on Uniswap. Make sure I get the best price and use the lowest gas fee. Then confirm with Face ID.
Okay, that kind of natural language understanding for complex DeFi tasks,
Yeah,
that would dramatically lower the barrier to entry.
exactly. And beyond swaps, think portfolio management. Siri, what's my total crypto portfolio value right now across all chains? Or Siri, alert me if Solana drops below $60 and suggest how I might rebalance my liquid assets.
Predictive suggestions even.
Potentially. Or for NFTs. Siri, show me the latest floor prices for the Bored Ape collection on OpenSea. Or Siri, place a bid of 2 ETH on that specific NFT I favorited. And in DeFi itself, lending, borrowing, yield farming, you could maybe say, Siri, summarize the latest Avia governance proposal and help me vote with my staked tokens.
Voting via voice, that's interesting.
Or, Siri, I need to bridge 500 USDC from Ethereum to Polygon. Find the most secure and efficient bridge available right now. We're already seeing some emerging tools trying this, like Nomics voice agents. But a Gemini-level Siri, baked into the OS, that could bring sophisticated voice trading bots, real-time market data queries, right to your voice. Siri, what's the current sentiment for Cardano on Twitter and Reddit? Or, Siri, explain impermanent loss in simple terms and how it affects my liquidity pool. The friction could just evaporate, making Web3 feel almost as intuitive as online banking, maybe more so because it's so personalized.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about the potential security risks, too. It's huge.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Voice commands for financial transactions.
Right. Convenience is great, but it introduces new attack vectors. Could a deepfake of your voice authorize a swap?
That's terrifying.
Exactly. How do we ensure the AI correctly interprets intent for these irreversible on-chain actions? A misunderstanding could be catastrophic. So you'd need incredibly robust identity verification, multi-factor authentication, explicit confirmation of all transaction details before execution. A Gemini-powered Siri would need extremely sophisticated security protocols, maybe combining voice biometrics with secure element processing on the device itself, to verify not just who is speaking, but what they truly mean to do, especially with money involved. The potential is immense, but so are the responsibilities. Getting security right is paramount. Hashtag tag BP, the privacy versus capability debate, reimagined for crypto.
This isn't just about Apple's internal AI struggle. It really mirrors these fundamental debates we have constantly in the crypto space. That tension between privacy and capability, it seems almost baked into both worlds, doesn't it?
It really does.
In crypto, we're always weighing decentralized private control against the convenience of centralized services. And often, privacy is the trade-off.
Precisely. It's an incredibly insightful parallel. It's very similar to those ongoing debates in crypto. Self-custodial security, holding your own keys, interacting directly with the blockchain, total control and privacy, versus the convenience, the speed, The often simpler user experience of centralized exchanges, CEXs like Coinbase or Binance,
Yeah.
would usually involve trade-offs on privacy and ultimate control because you're trusting a third party with your assets.
Right. The classic CEX versus DEX self-custody debate.
Exactly. And Apple, in this scenario, they're balancing that desire for in-house control and the privacy that comes with it against the rapid gains and advanced features offered by external AI. It forces all of us as users, as participants in this digital economy, to question, how much convenience are we really willing to trade for better functionality? Especially with sensitive data or with our financial assets in crypto. Where is that line for you personally? When it comes to your digital assets and how you interact with them, this whole situation highlights that these aren't just tech decisions. They're deeply philosophical ones about control, access, trust, the nature of identity and ownership online. Will AI-driven convenience lead to a kind of subtle erosion of the privacy principles many in Web3 value? Or can we design it to enhance both? That's the challenge.
It's a really fascinating parallel. It shows these aren't just isolated tech problems, but fundamental human dilemmas playing out digitally. We have to confront our own comfort levels with new tech and the trade-offs. So for you listening right now, thinking about your own crypto journey, the challenges you face, could a Gemini-powered Siri genuinely help you trade on-chain with just your voice someday? Maybe even bridge that gap between convenience and self-custody that defines so much of crypto now? What specific problem, what pain point in your crypto life would you ask it to solve first, given this potential new intelligence? Imagine the possibilities, and yeah, the security stuff we need to figure out alongside it. Okay, let's talk about the market reaction. Wall Street always has an opinion, right? It acts as this kind of barometer for how these big strategic shifts are perceived. So, how did investors react to this news? The prospect of an Apple Google AI team up, what does that tell us? Strength, or maybe desperation?
Well, the stock markets reacted quite positively, actually. It revealed some clear investor optimism about this AI pivot from Apple. After the news broke about Apple exploring Gemini, Google's parent company, Alphabet, saw its shares jump about 3%,
Mhm.
which is significant for a company that size.
Wow, 3% is a big move for Alphabet.
It is. And Apple saw a respectable gain, too, about 1–2%.
Mm-hmm.
So as Barron's and others reported, the financial world seems to see this largely as a pragmatic, strategic, forward-looking decision, not really as a sign of weakness or desperation from Apple.
Interesting. So, optimism. Why?
Well, several factors. Investors see the value in getting cutting-edge AI integrated quickly, even if it's from a partner. It lets Apple sort of de-risk its AI strategy, speed up its timeline for delivering advanced AI features to its massive user base, and potentially cut down on those staggering R&D costs of building a top-tier foundational LLM totally from scratch.
What?
And for Google, it's huge validation for Gemini, and potentially a massive licensing deal, securing its spot as a key AI infrastructure provider.
Right, a win-win, potentially.
The market reaction feels like a vote of confidence in Apple's ability to adapt and prioritize innovation in this fierce AI race. And for Google, it opens up big new revenue streams for its AI work. It really signals that in this new AI world, even traditional rivals can find ways to work together that benefit both.
So the market gives it a big thumbs up, sees it as a smart collaboration. It signals just how intense this AI race is, how demanding it is, resources, talent, compute power,
Exactly.
that even giants, traditional rivals, are finding strategic reasons to team up. It's a pragmatic recognition that sometimes collaboration is the fastest, most efficient path to innovation, not trying to build every single piece yourself. It sends a powerful message to the whole tech world. The future of AI might be more about collaboration and integration than just purely isolated in-house stuff. It kind of reshapes how we think about tech leadership now. Hashtag, tag, tag, provocative thought. Okay, as we start to wrap up our deep dive here, here's something to really chew on, something to think about regarding the future of tech and how we engage with it. This potential Apple-Google partnership. It fundamentally challenges our old ideas about competition and innovation in big tech, doesn't it? So, for you, the listener, does this move suggest Apple is ultimately falling behind in the core AI race? Is this a necessary catch-up move just to stay relevant in an AI-first world? Or is it actually a much smarter, more strategic collaboration? Does it signal a new era of tech development, a more interconnected era where even the fiercest rivals might benefit from sharing innovation, accelerating progress for everyone and ultimately giving us, the users, better experiences? Think about what that means for the long-term tech landscape and what it even means to be a tech giant anymore. Hashtag outro. Wow, what an incredible deep dive into a story that really could redefine our digital interactions, from how we use our phones, talk to our assistants, all the way to how we manage crypto and navigate Web3. We've unpacked Apple's big AI pivot, dug into that fascinating bake-off between Linwood and Glenwood models, explored that critical, really delicate balance between privacy and capability, and lit up the huge implications for the Web3 world. Voice-activated trades, new security challenges, it's a lot.
Yeah, this conversation just highlights how incredibly fast the tech landscape is evolving and how fields that seem separate, like advanced AI and decentralized blockchain tech, are not just converging, but deeply intertwining. In exciting, unpredictable, and really impactful ways, understanding these connections, anticipating these shifts, thinking critically about the trade-offs, that's absolutely key to navigating the future, managing our digital lives, our digital assets, and just staying ahead of the curve in this ridiculously dynamic time.
Absolutely. And hey, if you found this deep dive into Apple's AI pivot and its crypto implications as fascinating as we did, then please do us a huge favor, like this deep dive, subscribe to the deep dive channel if you haven't already, and definitely hit that notification bell. Your support is genuinely incredibly important to us. It really does fuel our journey into the future of AI and Web3. It helps boost our visibility in the algorithm so more people like you can find this content, and it lets us keep creating quality, in-depth analysis just like this. So please engage with us, leave a comment below, tell us what you think about today's provocative question, Apple's strategy, the crypto impact. We'd love to hear your perspective. And let us know what other cutting edge topics you want us to tackle next. We really appreciate every single one of you joining us on this exploration.